Weightlifting 101, part 2. Can you see the shadow? 2. All right, guys, so this is a topic that I'm actually relatively, I don't know why. It's kind of an obscure topic, but I think it's one that's important to me. But so it's weightlifting, position work versus percentage work. And I think this is a great conversation. I think this is a great topic because what I see on the social media world, all that kind of stuff, is people mainly doing percentage work. And from what I see, it definitely looks like their technique could use some work. I don't see a lot of positional work. I do see some, but I don't see a lot. And my question is that we can actually, that I'm going to pose before we jump into this conversation is weightlifting, positional work versus percentage work. A program with positional focus or a program with percentage focus. Which one should I choose? So if you'll note below the percentage work, there's an example. There's snatch, 60%, 4 reps times 2 sets, 65 times 3 times 2, so on and so forth. Very basic, very kind of simple example of a snatch kind of volume percentage work based program. And then over to the left, we actually have snatch, an example of positional work, which is 1 snatch pull and then 1 slow negative after the pull, slowly go down, and then a snatch from 2 inches off the floor. So on your slow negative, you're going to pause at 2 inches off the floor, and then you're going to snatch. Okay, so that's the main differences between them. You're going to see in positional work, there's going to be a lot of pauses, a lot of eccentrics, a lot of holds, a lot of kind of like accessory pieces to it, like snatch bounces, snatch deadlifts, hang pulls, power snatches, or powers of the lift, or whatever else. You're going to see a lot of positional work. Okay, in percentage work specifically, you will see, you might see some partial lifts or whatever else, but it's going to typically be, and this might be a little advanced for some of you guys, but this is going to be a more Bulgarian, traditional Bulgarian approach where you're doing a lot of the full lifts and percentage work. Yes, you can do percentage work with partial lifts and variations, okay? But that's just to give you guys a distinction between the 2 different kinds of programs that are out there. Now, which one is right? Which one is the best one? And the right answer is they're both right. But which one is more right or more optimal for you, okay? So here's what I would say. I have a great opportunity to work with many really good, really talented CrossFitters that are also really good at weightlifting. Now, they still have a lot of developing to do. Depending on where they're at in their training age and also their ability level, will deem whether or not they do percentage or positional work, boom, boom, or percentage work, okay? I will tell you that the majority of the people that I work with do positional work, do positional drills. And it depends on what their weakness is, okay? For example, I have an athlete that I work with who has a really pretty strong pull off the ground, but catches the bar slightly out in front, especially in the snatch, okay? So for this person, I'll have them do a snatch into some snatch grip push presses, into some snatch bounces, into some overhead squats, or some kind of variation of that kind of complex. And then over time, slowly, I'm trying to like increase the intensity, which would be the percentage of that. That percentage is not necessarily based off of anything. That intensity level is not based off of anything other than just what they're doing. Show me what you're capable of with this complex, and then what we're going to do is we'll increase the reps. If we need more practice, we'll decrease the reps and go a little bit heavier to kind of actualize the skill, okay? But positional work is, I use it to focus on the positions that are weakest for the athlete. Another example is an athlete who actually has a great catch, but a really slow pull off of the floor. And they kind of come through a little early on their snatch and their clean. So what we do with this person specifically is we'll have them do a lot of hang work from the knee, like triples from the knee, powers and fulls, or even 2 powers one full or one power, two fulls, or whatever else, some variation of hang work or from the knee in an effort to get them to learn to pull the bar in, be patient, stay back, and make that pull stronger. Another thing that we've done is snatch grip deadlifts, clean grip deadlifts. We've had them do that with bands attached to them, so for some accommodating resistance. All of this is positional work. Positional work, I like it, again, because we get the opportunity to focus specifically on what the athlete needs in order to get better. Okay? So percentage work is great. You'll see this a lot in templates, and it's because it's easily to kind of linearly progress percentages across the basic full lifts or some sort of basic partial lifts, whether it's the hang power or hang full or whatever else. We can kind of slowly increase the weights over time, over weeks, in percentages. Okay. This doesn't mean that percentage work is wrong if you're working with an athlete individually. Percentage work is actually very good when the technique is solid, and now I just want to expose that athlete to some good intensity, right? So what I like to think of is percentage work is only good when the technique is something that we want to train. If that athlete's technique is good enough and we want to train that technique, then we use percentage work. If it's not, then percentage work is not going to be effective. And for the majority of CrossFitters specifically, they have a lot of positional things that they need to iron out. And that's by virtue of the sport in general, because of all the other things that they're doing. But even for the general pop person or even the sport specific person, if they want to get better at weightlifting, because it's the triple extension, the power in the hips, or the speed development, all that other kind of stuff, positional work is going to be more effective for those guys than doing percentage work. Why? Because they're not getting the reps and the volume in, especially for sport-specific athletes. They'll clean once a week, maybe. They're not getting enough reps and volume in that you want to specifically say, their technique is good enough, I want to train that technique. When we get an athlete there, that's when we start using percentage work. Those guys are typically your nationally ranked lifters, or international lifters, or even your Olympic and that kind of level. But again, you'll still see those guys with a significant amount of positional work in the program. So to recap, when is a good time for positional work and when is a good time for percentage work? Positional work. Really, it's actually great for people who are just learning the lifts. Learning the lifts, or kind of like your intermediate level weightlifter. Specifically, you're taking the intermediate level lifter and you're peaking them for a competition. You're trying to ramping up the percentage or ramping up the intensity. That might be a good time to use percentage work. But those are the main reasons to use positional work when you're trying to change and work on technique. Percentage work, like I said, it's going to be when we're peaking for a meet, or your technique is solid enough that those positions are good enough and we want to train that. We want to make those positions stronger, okay? Weightlifting, position work versus percentage work. Ideally, the best program is going to have a little bit of both, but it depends on where the athlete is at. Hope that was helpful, guys. Talk to you soon.